If you or a loved one have recently entered hospice care, you've probably realised that you should have packed a dictionary. There are so many new terms and phrases being thrown about, and they're not always easily explained. Two of these terms are palliative care and hospice care, which people often confuse as being the same thing, which they're not. Before we begin, please help out the channel by liking and subscribing if you find this video informative. Now let's talk palliative care and hospice care. In short, palliative care refers to the day-to-day care and emotional, medical, physical, spiritual and social support provided to someone with a life-threatening illness as doctors pursue a cure. A palliative care team is made up of doctors, nurses, social workers, nutritionists and chaplains based on the patient's needs. The idea is to look after the patient's overall well-being as well as their families. Palliative care is given to those with a significant illness or injury. But it's not just for the dying, so you are still receiving curative treatment. But these curative treatments aren't always easy. Chemotherapy, amputation, brain injury and so on all come with significant challenges. Now you can of course choose not to have palliative care, in which case you won't be given any more than the bare minimum of pain meds, or have the local therapy dog come in and say hi, or have a nutritionist work out what foods are causing issues with your meds and leading you to vomit uncontrollably. Some people are stubborn and uninformed and think that palliative care is just for the dying. But even if it was, why are you making it harder on yourself? Palliative care focuses on easing symptoms and making it easier to cope with your current shitty situation. And research tells us that your mental well-being can play a big part in your recovery. And that's medical scientists talking, not the alternative cure your cancer with sunlight brigade talking. Palliative care can be used in a hospital, a facility, or at home. It really depends on the person's needs. For example, a person being treated for 70% burns of their body is going to have to receive their palliative care in the hospital because they won't be leaving there anytime soon. Same with someone with a severe brain injury. But someone undergoing chemo is often able to go home after each treatment, so they would likely receive their palliative treatment at home. The point is, you could die from any of these things. Burns, brain injury, cancer, they're all life-threatening, but you're not actively dying. You are still receiving treatment to reverse the effects of these conditions. And that's where palliative care comes in. Hospice care refers to the care provided to those who have received a terminal diagnosis, usually with a prognosis of 6 months or less. In other words, you are actively dying. Hospice care focuses on pain and symptom management since patients in hospice care are no longer seeking a cure. The patient may have chosen to stop curative treatment, or everything that can be done has been done and death is really the only option now. Hospice care is provided by a team similar to palliative care, but is overseen by the hospice medical director rather than the primary care physician. Another thing they have in common is that hospice care can, and usually is, provided at home, but it can also be provided at an assisted living facility, hospital or hospice centre. As a kid, I remember visiting my nana in a hospice centre, and quite frankly, it was much nicer than being in a hospital. You know how hospitals have that white clinical look to them? Well, it wasn't like that, and it was designed to make patients and their families feel a bit more comfortable and a bit more like home. And while I'm on the topic, we did a video on terminally ill kids and how to deal with that situation, so go check that out after this. Also, Perth's first children's hospice is currently being built, and if you would like to help out, please donate via the link that I'll put in the description below. Regardless, everyone works together to ensure that both the patient and their family are receiving the holistic care they need. The team will regularly visit and be available by phone as well. So as you can see, hospice care and palliative care are quite similar. Both involve putting together a team of qualified professionals to assist a patient and their family with medical, emotional, physical, spiritual or practical needs. Both involve easing the pain and symptoms relating to a life-threatening condition. The main difference between the two relates to the ongoing curative treatment. With palliative care, the patient is actively seeking a cure, while those in hospice care have exhausted all curative options and are focusing on quality of life. seeking a good death, if you will. And we have a video on that too. I hope this has been informative. Give us a like if you've learned something new. Now go talk death.